Hello, welcome to Toronto Bible Study. I'm your host, Mike Sampats, and I'm about to make a video on Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a famous Canadian psychologist. This video is from before he got famous, although he was known back then, but he wasn't famous. And a lot of Christians find this person to be very interesting, persuasive, admirable even. And I would just caution those people that to be very careful, to remember that we are sent as sheep amongst wolves, and that we shouldn't place our trust in any man except for Jesus Christ. And so we must be very careful when these people offer these sort of easy answers for things. But anyway, let's listen to what he says.
You guys know about the daycare scandals that were very, very common in the 1980s. So horribly common, actually. This infested many towns. And usually what would happen is somebody who was a little on the paranoid side, or maybe a lot on the paranoid side, would send their children off to daycare. And that was a whole new thing in the 80s, right? Because women were, moving into the workforce like mad, and so they were handing over often their infants, kids below 3, say, to total strangers. And for some of them that set up a fair bit of worry, like it still does, and sometimes that worry got out of hand, especially among the people who are a little predisposed to paranoid schizophrenia, and maybe.
Hold on, I'm just gonna a comment here, because if you notice what he's saying, he's trying to tell you about this thing that happened in the 80s. They call it he calls it the daycare scandal or something, or the daycare scandals. And yeah, that's maybe one of the names for it. The more common name is the Satanic Panic. Okay, what it is about, there was like thousands and thousands, or even like more than 10,000, like different reports from daycares and elementary schools around America of satanic ritual abuse of children by either staff or whomever, and staff or certain other people that were close to that organization. And satanic ritual abuse, what I mean by that is that these kids were reporting that they had been abused sexually and in other ways, and it's like, and in the ways that involved satanic rituals. And there were also cults of some kind, or there were reports of that. And it does appear that of the thousands and thousands of reports that they got, over 10,000, that most of them were clearly fake. Okay, and so what he's trying to say here, what he's trying to get across in this video is that, or in this little speech he makes in the lecture hall, is that they were all fake. And anyone who even talks, he's going to paint the picture that they're all fake, and that anyone who even talks about that stuff is a crazy person. Okay, that's the picture he's going to paint for you now. And he's already talking about how some of the women are a little bit paranoid, a little bit schizophrenic or something like that. This is a psychologist. Okay, and I guess some people might say that, oh, he's psychologizing his analysis, Mike. It's okay, but no. What he's doing is, as a so-called psychologist, clinical psychologist, he's literally saying that the thousands and thousands and thousands of women who reported this, a bunch of them were probably paranoid schizos. He has no evidence of this, right? Nothing. He's not referring to any study or anything that's been done on these women or anything like that. But okay, you could say he's a psychologist. He's able to make these kind of calls and everything, but I would say that that's irresponsible. But again, what he's trying to do is paint a picture. He's giving you a narrative. Oh, these women were a little bit crazy, and they start reporting, reporting about how their kid got abused. It's just like he's trying to make you think that they're just a bunch of paranoid retards, right? So that's the idea that he's trying to get across to you. I would just be careful about accepting these kind of easy assumptions for these people. But anyway, let's listen.
Even had some previous episodes. Worry, like it still does, and sometimes that worry got out of hand, especially among the people who are a little on little predisposed to paranoid schizophrenia, and maybe even had had some previous episodes. And so, you know, the kid would come home and the mother would observe, or not, something kind of peculiar about their behavior, and then she'd fantasize about maybe what that was, and then, you know, she'd start asking the child if the child had been touched in any particular way, and, you know.
See, okay, look, there's another thing I want to say about this is just that this is how you can tell a person's a liar, or that they're not like telling you the whole truth, or they're deceiving you in some way. I'll tell you why. When I wanted to explain to you what this guy's talking about or whatever, the satanic panic, right? All I did was just, I gave it a name, the satanic panic. I gave you some stats about it. Oh, you know, there's over 10,000, most of them were fake, and you know, and there's satanic ritual abuse, all the relevant facts. I just presented all the relevant facts in about 10 seconds or 15 seconds, and then you knew everything, kind of everything you need to know about this thing for the rest of the discussion, or you're introduced to the topic very quickly. It took me about 10 15 seconds for you to know all the relevant facts. But what this is going to do is lead you on this trail of all this weird stories. Oh, the women, they're kind of a little bit schizo, and maybe they had a few episodes in the past, who knows. And, oh, they're nervous. It was in the 80s, the women are all going back to work, and they're leaving their infant children with strangers, and you know. So he's painting this picture for you rather than just giving you facts. And that's one of the first red flags when you see someone such a practiced liar, such as this man. You'll see these kind of techniques. That's how they do it. Okay, but just so you're aware that that's how these people work, these deceivers. But anyway, let's continue.
And she'd keep this up for a good length of time, and then the child would start to have nightmares, and then the child would tell the mother about what the nightmares were, and then that would freak her out, and so she'd ask even deeper questions, and soon, you know, her children were telling her that horrible things were happening to them at daycare. And so then she'd go to the police, and they wouldn't look into her psychiatric background, and then the police would go out and they'd start to interview other children. And if they interviewed them properly,
see what he's saying? Oh, then they go to the police, and they wouldn't even check her psychological background. Like, hold on, bro. You think police are supposed to check the psychological background of a person, a woman who comes in and reports some kind of abuse of their child? Hey, maybe after the 1,000th case or the 8,000th case, but not the first case. And also, again, he's just painting the picture. Oh, the police, they were incompetent too. They should have checked her psychological background. What are you even talking about? He's just putting in all these little details, and what that does is fill in this. It just like puts a suggestion in your mind. Oh, the police were incompetent too. Oh, the women were crazy. Oh, the mothers. Oh, they're just paranoid. Soccer moms. They're home. They got too much time on their hands at home all day, and they just sit around and think about paranoid fantasies. You know, that's what he's trying to. That's the picture he's painting. And again, if I wanted to explain the satanic daycare panic, whatever thing that they call it, I can easily do that in a few minutes, and you'll understand all the relevant facts, and then we can have a discussion. But what he's doing is he doesn't want to do that. He's just giving you a story, and he wants you to think his version of it is the truth, and he's not giving you facts so that you can make your kind of own conclusions. No, he's telling you what it is. It's a bunch of fake crazy women. It's a bunch of incompetent police. That's what this is. This is not, you know. Like that's what I'm trying to explain. But anyway, that's how these deceivers do it. They frame everything. They don't just tell you what's happening. They frame everything in such a way that when they finally start giving you facts, it's all set in your mind already, so that you just think the conclusion that they want you to reach. You know, you've been kind of corralled into this way of thinking about what he's about to tell you. He still hasn't gotten to the facts of what this all is. He still hasn't explained to you that there's a satanic ritual abuse thing. Up to now, he's been talking for like a minute and a half. You know, I explained it in the first thing out of my mouth. You already knew there's some kind of satanic thing, right? But he's like, oh, daycare. It was a daycare scandal. Oh, it's paranoid women mothers. Then it's cops that are a little bit incompetent. They didn't check the background of the women or whatever stupid thing that suggestion, as if Cops are supposed to check the background of people complaining to them. And then like that's how he's telling you this. You still don't even know that it's about a satanic panic thing or whatever. But he sets you up to think whatever these people are talking about, they're a bunch of crazy idiots. And then when he finally says satanic panic or satanic cult, whatever, then you're gonna be like, these people, what a bunch of idiots. You can't the whole satanic thing is just ludicrous to you now, you know? But then what I don't know, because it's obviously you already think that kind of, you know. Anybody who says there's a satanic cult abusing kids, that's already going to make you think like red flags, right? But anyway,
other children would start to produce all these stories as well, because now how did that happen? Well, a bunch of ways. The first is the police would ask leading questions like, did anyone touch you? Well, of course someone touched the kids. I mean, people touch kids. Did anybody touch you there? Well, that's not a question. That's a piece of information. The piece of information.
Again, like, so again, he's not like just telling you what happened. He's giving you this version of events where police are coming in and asking the kids questions and leading in a leading manner or something, or giving the kids suggested questions that cause them to. It's almost like they're coaching them. This is all part of a story or a kind of bigger picture that he's painting for you. Again, he still has not even mentioned the fact that there's a satanic cult element here or anything like that. When he finally mentions that part, satanic cult stuff, you're already primed to think it's a bunch of crazy people and that everything they're saying is nonsense. Okay?
Information is, if someone touched me there, an adult would be very interested in that, right? So and now.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to point out that this guy, you see right there how he has his fingers like that? This is a satanic hand sign. Okay. Now people will say to me, because they don't understand how the world works and they think that they know, that that's stupid. But for the people who actually know how this world works, I know there's people in my audience who understand that the world is controlled by a satanic cult of like Freemason witches, and that this guy is one of their agents, and he's doing magic on his students right now. So for those people, I'd just like to point out that he's doing a satanic hand sign, and this is what these people do. Of course, you can see people doing this all the time. I don't point at things like this. If I'm trying to tell you, oh, hey, there's a thing over there. There's a thing like, oh, look, there's a cross. Look at the top of the cross, right? I wouldn't point it like this. Hey, look over there. Look over there. No, because that's pointing at two different things, right? So I would just point one way. But you can look at it. I mean, I'll show you a million movies back in those days, with this period. But that was when this sign was big. And you'll see, like in The Sopranos, Tony, whatever that guy, Tony Soprano, he would go around, he would just be like this. Oh, hey, Carmine, it's over there. It's over there. Why are you pointing with two fingers, dude? Wouldn't you point like this? Because now I'm pointing at two different things. It's confusing. See, no one points like that. And Paulie on Sopranos used to always do this. Oh, it's over there. Oh, look at that. Why would you do this? And then there was even this movie, X-Men. I think it's Days of Future Past or something, when it was like Mystique was trying to kill Richard Nixon in the White House, and she's like, right before she breaks in, I think he's sitting in the White House and he's like pointing at something. He goes like this. This is what they used to do. Now this thing's been outed now, so now they start doing more advanced, more subtle symbolism and stuff, right? But during this period, when it was like The Sopranos were on TV and those kind of things, that's when they were still doing this stuff. And they would do this one a lot too. This one was, and then actually when Donald Trump kind of baited this one now, but this is the one, this 666. They used to do this a lot. But they stopped doing this now. Now they got more subtle techniques, but anyway.
It's a piece of information. The piece of information is, if someone touched me there, an adult would be very interested in that, right? So and now, what's a child doing when he's answering an adult's questions? Well, the child doesn't bloody well know. What the hell do they know? They're like 3, They can hardly organize their story. you know, if you're talking to a kid and you want to get them to give you an account of their day, you have to really guide them through the organization of their memory. And partly what they're doing when you're doing that is they're looking at you, trying to figure out if they're telling you the right.
Once again, so he's giving you this picture, painting the picture of how kids are stupid, and anything you try to, when you ask kids questions, they're just looking for a way to try to give you the right answer that you want. They don't care even about the truth or trying to tell you anything. So it's all, anyway, whatever. Some of this is true, but what I'm saying is he's just setting the framing of, again, framing it. So that when he finally drops this thing on you about how it's satanic cults or whatever, it's like you already have it in your mind that the kids were lying, they were manipulating the adults were coaching the kids, the police were incompetent, the mothers were paranoid. All these things have been filled into your head before he tells you that this is a satanic cult thing.
Right things, which is what they should be doing, because what they're trying to learn to do is to tell people things in a way that they'll understand them. But that makes the child very, very responsive to the nonverbal and verbal cues of the adult. You think about how fast those little rats learn how to pick up language, you know?
Yeah, this is the thing too. Like what he just said was that kids are little rats. Okay, now you could say to me that, oh, he was just joking or whatever, right? Now, I don't know, even if I'm joking. First of all, if I was joking and saying that kids are little rats, what I would do after making that joke is do a little chuckle type of thing, like, I had those little rats, ha 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 ha. And then people would know that I was joking and I'm not literally referring to small children as rats, okay? Because that's what normal people do when they make a joke like that. And there's nothing wrong with making a joke like that. Maybe that's kind of funny. In certain contexts, that's a permissible joke, okay? I'm not trying to censor him, all right? I'm just saying to you, I'm trying to explain to you that this Christian so-called man, right, just referred to small children as rats. He's not joking. He's not making a joke. Okay, he's just going to continue on with his so-called lecture, right? And just continue on as if nothing happened. Who cares if he called the children rats in a university lecture hall? Who cares? This is the way he talks. It's just completely normal. Don't even sweat it.
It's really very fast, and no one really teaches them. They're just paying attention like mad. So you get a bunch of cops who are on a half-cocked adventure, and they think there's some serial sexual.
So the cops are on a half-cocked adventure now, and they think there's some serial sexual blah 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 blah. Just a bunch of nonsense. Look, again, if I want to tell you about some kind of events that occurred in the past, I'll just tell you a bunch of relevant facts of it. First, I'll give you the name of the event. I won't say the daycare scandal of the 80s. I mean, yes, some people do kind of call it that, but like, that's not how I can explain to you what that event was. You'll never understand that from that name, okay? It's a satanic panic. That's what it is. If I say that, almost everyone knows. I mean, anyone who is familiar with that will know exactly what I'm saying. Daycare scandal, maybe they'll know, maybe not. Other people that don't know, when I say daycare scandal, you have no idea what I'm saying. What could that could be that could be a bunch of daycares were stealing money. It could be a bunch of daycares were selling drugs. You don't know what a daycare scandal is. It doesn't inform you. Okay? So and then he says daycare scandal. Then he starts talking about, oh, the kids were paranoid or something, or no. The mothers were paranoid, the kids are manipulating the adults, cops are incompetent. This is just filling all these stupid details in before. He still has not told you anything about Satanism or anything like that.
Pervert in their midst, and they go interview, 15, 20 kids, and they do it a lot. They use little dolls, and they do it a lot, and they do it a lot, and they do it a lot. And sooner or later, all the kids start having nightmares, and then they start telling the cops there's all these terrible things happen, like they're taken into underground caverns and they're stripped naked and they're forced to leapfrog over each other.
Yeah, it's so underground caverns and leapfrog over each other, all these stories. So now all those stories, right? They all seem like just ridiculous fantasies that these cops somehow managed to plant into the children's brain, and then the kids started spewing them out, and then the cops believed them, and whatever happened, it's fake. Okay, that's what he's trying to say to you. Again, still has not brought up Satanism or anything. Whatever.
Like, you just can't believe it, what happened. You can't believe it. It's all documented in a book called Satan's Silence, which was written by a social worker.
Silence. That book's a joke, but we'll get into that. Or, you know what?
It's mind-boggling. The longest prison sentences in American history were...
Longest prison sentences in American history. None of them were served. Not one of these longest prison sentences in American history was served. You know, not even one. I mean, maybe they served some time a little bit, but then they all were released, every single one of them. Okay, so none of this happened, but he's just going to talk about that.
Handed out to a series of middle-aged women who were taking care of little kids, and the FBI even came up with a whole new criminal category: late onset female sexual offender. Well, why didn't that category exist before? It's simple. There are no late onset middle-aged female sexual offenders. That's why we didn't need the...
It never happened in human history. Never did we ever have a late onset sexual offender who was a female. Never happened ever. It's just not a phenomenon that could ever happen. So the whole thing is
category. But once all these accusations came up, well, poof, you know, you had to have some damn category for these poor women. Some of them were put in jail for 350 years, which seems a bit excessive, given that they're only going to last about 40. You know, they'd get 12 consecutive life sentences. So, and you know, there was actually a situation where
not even one of these women was actually forced to serve even a small part of this sentence, like very small part, maybe, like, you know, but none of them served any kind of time for this. Like, it's not like this. Okay, so whatever he's talking is a bunch of nonsense.
Town went so far as to start digging underneath the town to find these underground satanic lairs where all these weird ritual things were going on, you know. And
yeah, so that's the first time he said satanic. It's the first time he said it. You know, that's how he is. He's just not giving you the facts so you can understand what the hell he's talking about. He's confusing you. And when he finally tells you at the end that it's just a bunch of nonsense and all of them are fake or whatever he's going to try to basically say at the end, that's already been set up in your mind. So that's the most obviously believable conclusion from this, but maybe not. But
this was not one shred of concrete evidence, you know, and the eventual conclusions, and this affected thousands of people, the eventual conclusions was, well, there actually isn't anybody who's, you know, satanically torturing children in daycare centers.
Oh, never anyone. That's what he's trying to say. It just simply of the 10,000 cases, not even one was real. Not even one. That's what he's saying. That's what he's trying to get you to believe. Don't believe it.
Now, anyways, why am I telling you this? Well,
see what he did right there? That's another hand sign that they do. They go like this. You can see. I can show you some pictures of it. That's what they do. He did that on purpose. Look at what he's doing right now. Look how he's freaking out. Like, he's trying to say, "Oh, these bastards! They sentenced those poor daycare workers to hundreds of years in prison. We must stop this scourge on our society." That's what he's trying to do. Like, he's like, I'm so enraged. The injustice. Listen, don't believe these wicked deceivers. Okay, these people are wicked, evil deceivers. Don't ever believe them.
What the children were doing, you think about it, how the hell did the children come up with these weird ideas? You know, I mean, first of all, we should note the children are not stupid.
Okay, so this again, he always does this, like, because just now he was saying how kids are the kids are all like 3 or less. Before he was saying the kids are all 3 or less, and kids, oh, you just have to fill in their whole story. They can't even think up a story, or they can't even formulate their thoughts or something. He was saying like that before. They can't even formulate their own thoughts. Okay, all the kid wants to do is please you. And when you ask the kid a question, did somebody touch you there? all the kid is thinking is, oh, this person wants me to say that somebody touched me there, so that's what I'm going to do. That's what he's trying to. That's what he was saying before. But now he's saying kids are smart and you know, watch out. And remember that he referred to kids as rats. Rats. Okay? Just like less than a minute ago, he called small children rats. Okay? This person is a bad person. Do not listen to this man. Okay? I don't know. I feel so sorry for all the Christians who think this guy is like giving them good advice or whatever. I'll clean your room. Like, shut up, man.
They can also dream up the most horrible things, you know, because they have an imagination that's capable of extending itself out into the terrifying. Now everyone knows.
Oh yeah. Oh, kids have an imagination that it's capable of extending itself out into the terrifying. That's how you make something that is just like an obvious thing that everybody knows, that you don't even have to say, that you make it into something that it sounds like almost like you're smart, and it makes you sound smart, and it makes it sound like something people should listen to. People who aren't that smart, they're kind of like, oh, okay, something he said there was intelligent, and I'm gonna, you know, that's how this is what these people do. Again, deceivers, this is how they talk, you know. Like, I could just say to you that kids are able to imagine scary things. They have very you know, they dark things enter the child's imagination or whatever. He's like this. No, oh, they have, everyone knows this because kids have an imagination that's able to extend into the terror. What is the terrifying? What are you talking about, bro? I don't know. Maybe this is some psychology terminology or whatever, but I highly doubt it. This guy's just like, they just talk like in this dumb way to not explain things simply so that you can understand. Rather, he talks it in a way to frame everything so that you will reach the conclusion he wants you to. That, again, like just like when I was trying to explain to you about the Satanic Panic, give you a bunch of the facts, so now you know, and now you can reach your own conclusion. But he doesn't want to do it. He's gonna just tell you it in such a way that you reach the conclusion he wants you to reach. Okay, that's how these people work. That's how these deceivers work.
That because all you have to do is remember when you were a kid, you know, when you were hiding under the covers because there were horrible things in your dark room. You know, you can populate the darkness with monsters with no problem, and you should be able to, because there are monsters in the darkness, even though your parents might tell you there aren't. It's like there might not be any monsters in that particular piece of darkness, and that's a perfectly reasonable thing to tell your children. But in the darkness as a whole, it's like, yeah, look the hell out.
What? See, this is the type of thing. Like, I remember when he said this before. I was watching this video before. Like, what? So what are you saying? Like, there's monsters? I'm supposed to believe in monsters now? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you trying to be like kind of clever? Like, oh yeah, parents, they tell their kids not to be scared of the dark. But hey, parents, don't forget there is monsters out there in the dark. And so what, I don't know, what do I think? Like, okay, so the parents told the kid that there's no monster in your closet or whatever. But in the dark of the world, there could be monsters, like let's say, I don't know, a serial killer or something realistic that exists in the dark of the world. Is that what he's saying? Whatever he's saying, it's just a confusing nonsense. Okay, it's not explaining the Satanic Panic of the 1980s so that you can understand those facts and reach a logical conclusion based on facts. He's trying to explain to you this story, framing everything so that you will be kind of, your whole thought process can only reach one conclusion. Okay.
So the children aren't stupid. Now, so then the adults start to question them, and the kids are, the back of their brain, the little imaginative part is thinking, what do these people want? What do these people want? What do these people want? And so they'll throw them out a little bit of information, and the adults will perk up. They'll focus right on that piece of.
Again, the framing, the narrative, not the facts. No facts here. This is a narrative. Again, this is just something he made up in his head, right? Like, he's just like, okay, maybe this is kind of like what happened, I guess, or, you know, when kids get coached by overzealous police officers, maybe this is kind of what the scenario looks like. I don't know. It is kind of sounds like realistic, okay, but he's framing this particular story, the Satanic Panic story, so that again, you think that basically every case of any child being questioned by police was something like this sort of bad detective work. It was every case of the whole thing. That's why it is all a bunch of Satanic Panic nonsense and nothing that really happened. Well, I highly doubt that.
Information. So maybe it's a cop who really hates child Satanist abductors, which, you know, is a perfectly reasonable stance. And so when the child...
So yeah, so the cop already hates Satanist abductors. The cop's already got a hard on to catch all the Satanist abductors. Okay? Again, framing it. Does he know any cop that was, did he name even one cop who was part of this thing? One cop who was charged with reckless investigation or whatever. One study that they did on this Satanic Panic that indicated that the police were doing this or that. No, he just didn't talk about any of that. He didn't name some stupid book, Silent Satanic or whatever, that book, nonsense. You want to read that? Go ahead. He is not giving you facts, okay? He's giving you this kind of sensationalist book that was written about it, and supposedly that documented everything, and then now I guess what he's saying is based on the facts in that book or something. I guess I don't know, whatever, man. It's a bunch of foolishness.
Offers any information about the existence of such a thing, well, the cop will perk up. And then the child thinks, oh, I see, well, so sort of what's going on seems to have something to do. They don't think this consciously, you know, but their imagination is working. How do I model the reality that's being presented to me? And that's when the dreams start to kick in too. Okay. So, by speaking in the appropriate way, you can get all sorts of things churned up in the unconscious minds of your listeners.
Okay, that was the whole video. So, just cut off because I don't really know. I just got that off of YouTube. There wasn't a thing like, there's an original video that I saw many years ago. It was like, it was one of the things that made me first realize that how bad this guy was. Like I kind of knew, of course, especially when he got famous, that he must be part of the Freemason Satanic conspiracy. But you know, it wasn't until I saw this video. I saw the whole video before, but I can't remember. I couldn't find it. But anyway, I saw this whole video. I was like, man, this guy is such an absolute scumbag. Because that's the thing. Like the thing that people don't realize is like how these guys will always use the Satanic Panic thing. Because what they do is they always try to play anyone who ever says anything about satanic ritual abuse is now painted as being part of this Satanic Panic thing. It's from the 80s, but people will still try to say that. Okay, now there's thousands and thousands of people all over the world who have reported this kind of abuse. Are they all faking it? Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's a slim chance, I suppose, that every single one of these thousands, I'm talking, there was over 10,000 in America back in the 80s. That's in the 80s. Since then, there's been another like thousands and thousands all over the world. All over the world. You guys, this man wants you to think they're all fake. Well, probably not. Okay, probably not. They're probably not all fake. Every single one fake, and they're like. So what's more likely scenario is that a bunch of them are real, and then these people come along, and they make you think like they're all fake, so that you don't realize, or they actually create this. I bet you, that's what I think, is that they actually created a satanic panic so that people would think when the real things, or probably maybe there were some real ones that actually got booked, and then they were like, okay, let's actually make some fake ones, and then people will think that they're all fake, and that will be the story, and then that's what they did, and it was very effective, and they still do it. You know, there was some other thing I was going to show you guys, but I forget. But this thing is, I mean, these people are wicked beyond belief. Okay, the stuff that they're doing. Well, actually, you know what? Let me just pause this for a second. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I was looking to try to find that book because I have read parts of it a long time ago, but unfortunately, it's not even available on Amazon right now. Like you can't buy it on Amazon. It's under review or something. Like, I don't even know what that means. I never seen that before. I never seen that before in my life. They're literally not allowing me to buy a book from Amazon because it's under review. What the hell? Anyway, that seems a bit suspect to me as well. Like I can't research this book. Probably because they anyway, who knows? I'm not gonna theorize about why that is. But anyway, I thought I'd show you some other stuff. I don't know if this is gonna work yet, but because these are all in different pictures like this. Well, okay, let me try this. All right, let's try this. Can you see this? I hope so. This is the FBI's. I mean, this is released by WikiLeaks, so it's probably obviously released on purpose by the Pedomafia. But what I wanted to point out here is just that they have this symbol of a triangle type thing here, which is the symbol of the boy lovers. Okay, boy lovers. That is, they like to have sex with young men, young boys, younger than of age. Okay, these are pedophile symbols. FBI has released this document. Well, no, they never released it. It was released on WikiLeaks, but supposedly it's an unclassified document of the FBI. Maybe it's fake, but most likely it's not fake. And these symbols are the symbols the pedophiles use, okay? Documented by the FBI. So now let's see who else has these symbols. I find it quite interesting. For example, this person also happens to like this symbol, which is very strange. It's quite strange indeed. Wait, where is this? What happened? How come it's not coming up? You guys can see it probably, I can't. Really? Here it is. Okay. So I hope, I don't know, I couldn't see it, but maybe you guys can see it the whole time, but I don't know. This is like the Pope, obviously. He's got the little boy lover symbol. This is on International Youth Day that he wore this outfit, or these outfits. Or youth, it was a few days or something, I think. But it was International Youth Festival, whatever. He's wearing this symbol. This symbol, I mean, look, the iconography and symbols of the Catholic Church are well documented right from the beginning until today. Every single symbol they ever used is well documented and recorded in their libraries. We know every single one they ever used in history. Okay, this is not one of them. But he wore it that day on World Youth Day. If you think this is a coincidence, I can't help you. You're one of those people. You're one of those fools who just thinks just likes to write everything off as a coincidence and just watch stupid TV shows and eat French fries or whatever you do. Okay? But if you understand that it's extremely suspicious for the Pope to wear this symbol on International Youth Day, if you understand that, obviously that is extremely, extremely suspicious and weird. Okay? If you understand that, then we can continue this conversation. This person has been involved in the cover-up of pedophilia already for decades, and the organization he represents, the Catholic Church, has obviously been involved in such scandals as well. So there's no way anyone could try to tell me that this is not extremely suspicious. But you know, those people are fools. They will try to tell you that. I don't know if you can see this other picture of this other guy now, because I can't see what's coming up here. But anyway, let me close these things. I can see more things. This is what I hate Apple. Apple sucks, by the way. Never buy an Apple unless you're like, if you're like one of these people who doesn't really know too much about computers, it's okay. Apple, you know. Anyway, it's this guy. I don't know. You probably were seeing this picture the whole time, but I couldn't see it. But this is the Bishop one of the bishops. He also had the boy lover symbol during that festival. All the bishops were wearing it. This symbol of the pedos, all the bishops were wearing it on World Youth Day. Okay? And the Pope himself. I mean, Catholics, snap out of it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then there's going to be Catholics who are going to say, "Oh, we're seated vacantinists," or what is it? Seated Vaticanists, or said it. I don't know. They don't support the current Vatican setup, and they're Catholics who don't support the Vatican. They think that the Vatican is been taken over by Satanists, and of course they're quite right. They're quite right that the Vatican has been taken over by Satanists. I don't know if they're right to continue being Catholics. Maybe they're correct in the sense that, you know, the Pope is in Moses' seat, as Jesus put it. So they should sort of bow to his authority, but they don't have to necessarily support him personally and that kind of thing. And they're trying to be more righteous than the Pharisees. You know what I mean? So that there's that argument that it may be defensible to continue being a Catholic, even though these satanic pedophiles control the Catholic Church. There's an argument there, but I disagree. But okay, I'm not gonna go into that too much. But anyway, yeah. So you can see that it's probably the whole organization has been infiltrated by these pedo weirdos. So the notion that we should just be okay with the Catholic Church and their machinations is probably quite wrong. And you should probably not even associate with them at all. Okay, here's Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine seems to be his handler. Her father was Robert Maxwell. He was part of the Assad, MI6, and so she seems. I mean, there's a lot of like nepotism in the secret society, the secret state organizations such as the CIA, MI6, and other groups like that. And so she seems to be one of them. And she appears to have been Epstein's handler. But who knows? Who knows, right? We don't know. But it does, like, whatever they're doing is extremely bad and evil and wicked. And you know, when you see famous people associating with those people, you should be immediately suspicious. Okay? This guy Jeffrey Epstein used to fly like people to his pedo islands, including the president, Bill Clinton, numerous times, like 25 times. People that think that's just nothing and who cares? Like, are you mental? But what I wanted to point out here is that these people, they like to support these little children's charities. That's what they call them, children's charities, so-called, you could say, such as this one, where Ghislaine Maxwell, Natalie Kaplan, that's probably some other rich Jewish person, and Lillian Stern, again, probably another super rich Jew. I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad people because they're Jews or anything, or even that they're part of the conspiracy, but I don't know who they are, those two women, but I'll tell you, I'm just saying that these pedo weirdos like to work with children's charities, especially these big international ones. So if you want to donate to a children's charity, I would suggest donate to one that's small and local and which you can actually keep an eye on. Because all these big ones are probably compromised. These big international so-called children's charities are probably all a bunch of pedo organizations, or at least a large percentage of them are. Okay, and if you think that sounds crazy or stupid, well, I'm sorry, you don't understand this world. Again, you're one of these foolish people who think that they can just dismiss all this, and everyone who thinks about it is a paranoid. Well, no, you're just a fool. You don't understand. I'm not paranoid. Okay, I'm showing you evidence of this. This woman has been like associated with this, twice convicted or convicted and then almost convicted and killed before he could be convicted pedophile child sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. This woman has been strongly associated with him as a basically part of his organization, part of his like his operation to traffic children sexually, right? This woman was one of the key elements in his operation. If the prosecution's fake story is true. Of course, the truth is probably that she was, yeah, his handler, a Mossad handler or whatever. And she was running the whole operation, but whatever. It doesn't even matter. The point is, she's a pedo freak, okay? And anyone, like, you know, we have to just look at all her associations and let's start looking into it. Let's investigate it. They're not doing that. They're sweeping under the rug, which is what they always do. All these elite child sex scandals, when they come out, and they've been coming out for decades and decades, since the like 60s at least. Elites of like the highest echelon of our society involved in child trafficking, pedophilia, and torturing and killing children and stuff, right? These things will come out, scandals, reports, whatever, and then sweep under the rug, sweep under the rug. That's the thing. That's why you should think it's not just a conspiracy theory or whatever. If these stories came out and they were thoroughly investigated and every single person was exonerated, all the evidence was laid out for you and we knew, then we could say, okay, well, hey, yeah, wow. I can't believe anybody accused these people. Oh, it's so terrible. But that's not what happens. What happens is everything is swept under the rug. And some other story suddenly becomes the biggest story in the news and everyone's talking about it. And then you just forget about it. And then again, people such as me who try to talk about it, oh, you're so conspiracy paranoid. Shut up. You never want to have fun. You're just a party pooper. You're killing all our fun. Can't I just watch this Disney movie? Why are you talking about pedos? I just want to watch Donald Duck. This is why people are so stupid, man. Give me a break. You want to watch Donald Duck? You're gonna show your kid Donald Duck? Look who associates with Donald Duck. Look at these people, man. They work with the children's charities. Disney's the worst. Disney is another pedo group, pedo organization. The amount of pedo stuff in Disney movies. Actually, let me show you that here. But just understand, Ghislaine Maxwell. This is like 30 years ago, man. She's been working with these kids, with Disney, and these sickos for like so long now. Okay, so if you're not getting it, you're asleep. Wake up. Okay, your society is run by pedophile freaks. They're hurting kids. Stop them, or like talk about it. Make people aware. Find out. Then make people aware. The more people that know, will stop them. Okay. However, if everybody just goes and ignores it and goes back to their their sports ball games or their stupid Hollywood movies, which is more brainwashing by the same Pedomafia. If that's what you're doing, instead of finding out who these Pedomafia people are and putting a stop to them, then you're wasting your time, and you're a waste of time. You're a waste of time for our whole society. You're a negative. You're part of the problem. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Let's just go back to this thing. Sorry, guys. Moving on. Okay, so that was Ghislaine. This is Disney. Disney is not your friends, okay? They don't like you. They hate you. They hate your kids. They want to eat your kids. They want to eat your kids and rape them at the same time. That's how bad these people are. Okay? You don't even know the wickedness that these people do. Okay? I'm not accusing anyone because I don't know which person exactly did what. But somebody out there is horribly abusing children for money and for just fun and profit, as they say, the horrible bastards that they are. And they need to be stopped, And people are going to say, oh, you conspiracy nuts. Shut up. You're always trying to guilt trip us into doing something about all the evil people. Why don't you do something? Yeah, what am I supposed to do when everybody just, as soon as I say anything, they call me a crazy person? Well, look, I'm doing this. I'm making this video. What are you doing? Right. Whatever. So this guy, this is a character off a Disney cartoon or some some nonsense that they make try to influence kids. He is literally wearing the child lover logo. Okay, this is not a coincidence. All right, this was just some random guy at Disney just felt like making this symbol. That's not what happened here. Okay, this is clearly that they use the pedo symbol because they're a bunch of pedos at Disney. And if we want to talk about all the Disney pedos, that's another whole conversation. Like that guy that directed Powder or whatever. He's a pedo. And there's this one of their vice presidents was convicted for raping a 7-year-old. I mean, this is when he was already like 60 years old. Like, who knows how many people he hurt in the past. He's at 60 years old. He rapes a 7-year-old. He's an executive at Disney. I mean, who knows? Who knows what his past was like? Okay, they hired back this guy on Nickelodeon. There was this guy on Nickelodeon who was a pedo. They hired him back to work with kids on a kids show. Okay, they're not trying to protect kids or do anything good for kids. They're a bunch of pedos. That's what they are. Okay. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on. Okay, so now you see that those people are disgusting pedos, right? Okay. Now, let's look at this. Look at this. Of course, Steven Spielberg is probably the king of these people, or he's one of the worst of them. Now, I don't know exactly everything he's done up to, but listen, he's certainly on board and not like he's in it to win it. He's not in it for to come in second place. He's like one of their main guys. Okay. And so here we see that they literally put this symbol into the ET movie. You may question this, but it's because you don't know. Okay, it's because you don't know. It's not, I'm not saying this is 100% proven fact, but most likely that's exactly what this is. Okay, and if you don't get it, then you don't know. That's all it is. I don't know what else to show you here. I've got some pictures. That's all I had, guys. I don't know. Maybe this one. Look. I put this on my Facebook one time. This is literally what our society has become now. Okay, it's not only just the fact that this man is the president, this pedophile weirdo is the president now, right? Not only that, and the fact that he's literally harassing a girl, a little child, on national TV in front of the whole world, right? With this weird pedosexual weirdness. Not only that is that happening right before your eyes. The leader of the free world is literally sexually harassing a child in front of your very eyes. Okay. But on top of that, it's like this is symbolic of what's really happening, because in our society right now, what we have is this fake pandemic thing where all of these like really old people are supposedly, they might die if they catch this thing. So now we have to shut down our whole society and all these measures for every single human being, including little kids, of course. And what you'll see again and again, I wish I had brought that picture up. I don't know if I'll find it now, but the pictures you'll see again and again of little children all masked, every single one of them masked, and the adults are all maskless, smiling. And even right here, you see the same thing. This man does not have a mask. He's right up on her. All his germs are all over her, man. How come nobody said anything about that? Why does she have to wear a mask? She's a child. She has to wear a mask to supposedly protect everyone from the deadly germs that might emerge from her mouth. But this fool does not have to wear a mask. And he's all up on her, like trying to like kiss her and stuff. Like, what kind of creepy shit is this? People don't really care. People don't care. Like all you fools that sit around, like, I mean, there's people like me all over the world, right? So there's people like me who go around and tell their friends that, oh, by the way, the president's a pedo. Pedos rule the whole like entertainment industry and also most of the politics and whatever. These people, like, everyone's heard about this by now. It's just that 90% of people, when they hear about this, they just go, get out of here, you're a conspiracy weirdo. So you are letting this go on with your ignorance while you sit around watching sports ball or watching Hollywood movies where they literally are trying to make you into a pedo by their brainwashing. Anyway, whatever, man. People are so hurting. Here's another one with this fool. Imagine this guy's been doing this for 50 years or whatever, or 40 years now. Jesus, man. These animals. And let me just show you this picture too, because you know what? This is interesting too. That this guy is here. That these two guys are buddies or whatever. That's very interesting to me that these two fools are friends. This guy used to have a daughter that he adopted or something. Then he married her. Okay, this is another obviously pedo weirdo. And like Woody Allen, like I don't know why anyone ever thought this guy was a good director or whatever. I mean, I did like Annie Hall. I guess it was kind of okay. But if you really think about it, like now that I look back on it, I can see that it's because we were grown up in a system where we find that kind of Jewish humor to be funny. Like that whole thing of like, it's funny that these guys are just always joking about sex. They're always joking about those kind of like lowbrow humor and stuff. They always bring that stuff. And it's funny that this complete absolute nerd, like you could never get a woman like what's her name, Diane Keaton, if he was a normal person. But because he's a rich Jewish guy and he's a director, like supposedly some kind of genius director, then he gets Diane Keaton and then eventually gets to her kid. Or was it Diane Keaton? It was like, oh, Diane Keaton was in the movie, but then it was like in his real life it was like Mia Farrow or whatever. But the point is, none of this is legit. All these people are just a bunch of satanic weirdos. That's why they get all the things they get. Okay? Now, Woody Allen might be a super intelligent guy, but what he has done, the reason he has not acquired the power, the influence, and everything else that he has is through his satanic connections to Freemasonry and other things of that nature. That is how they get to that level. Not because he's the best director in the world. That's not how they get there. Okay? The best director in the world will die unknown. Okay, because of these people, because they took over the industry and they give you movies where they try to make you into a pedo subconsciously. And you'll never see the best movie that could have been made because that guy probably got killed or whatever, or whatever. He's ignored. You know, no good art will ever be released to the public, mass produced or anything. I just want to show you this one too, because this guy, I don't know, man. He's also a Jew, and people are gonna say I hate Jews or whatever again, but I don't. Okay, I've never met a Jew I didn't like. I like Jews, but I just want to point out what they're doing. There is a system set up by the devil which uses Jews. Okay, and so these type of Jews, certain Jews that are very intelligent but also have no morals, are easily manipulated by the devil to become his slaves, and then they enter these kind of roles. David Frum, he's a Canadian guy. He was I think he was a speechwriter for George Bush back in the day, and now he's some kind of intellectual neocon type. So here he is. Spent a few minutes in my Twitter notifications this noon, observing the remarkable overlap between the denunciation of the Cuties movie and conspiratorial anti-Semitism. I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but wow, is it overwhelmingly present. So now it's like if you did not denounce the Cuties pedo movie, you're an anti-Semite weirdo and a conspiracy weirdo. That's what he's trying to say there. You know, that's how they do it. That's how they put these little stupid things. This is like little hints like this are everywhere in the media. Everywhere. When you watch a sitcom, you'll be watching a sitcom, it'll have some little joke about the crazy conspiracy guy who's scared of the Jews or whatever, yeah. And then they'll have, and then you'll be watching some movie like whatever, and then there's like some character in the movie, he hates Jews or he hates, or he's like, he thinks there's a satanic child trafficking thing, and so then that makes you think that only crazy people think like that. That's what they do. That's what they do. Yeah? The whole character of the crazy conspiracy guy. I mean, I guess in some way they do kind of almost look like that guy, but I mean that character was created by these people. Were probably part of it. I mean, it truly was created by Hollywood, by like Hollywood elites and stuff, you know. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, or not enjoyed it, but I hope you got something out of it. I hope it kind of made you think, or maybe you learned something. I don't know. But let me know. God bless. Toronto Bible Study. Thanks for watching.